y'all? Welcome to another video. Got a lot to go through today. As you already know, we're gonna highlight my CD collection and focus on the CDs I own by the Ramones. I don't know what I could add to the conversation. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Ramones. If you're not, they're a punk band, one of the early ones, New York City. Had a very, very long career, members coming and going a little bit, but just a great band. And, you know, I mean, I think it's one of those bands that I think now everybody kind of digs, but they certainly, you know, had their detractors back in the day, and they never really, when they were making records, never really kind of had like massive success. But now, you know, all these years later, I think they're probably one of the most successful bands. I'm sure that the Ramones brand, so to say, brings in a lot of revenue every year for the remaining members or their families. But who cares about that? That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about music. My introduction to Ramones, the first thing I picked up was Ramones Mania. I remember not long after, when did this come out? 88? Yeah, so this comes out right around when I first get a CD player. And me and my friend Kurt used to go to the record store every Tuesday. Back then, Tuesday was the day all the new releases came out. So we'd go, I feel like we went every Tuesday, but it might have been like every other Tuesday or something like that. But I remember being in this, it might have been like a Tape World or something like that. And of course, Tape World still had CDs and vinyl and stuff. But I remember finding this there and picking it up. And I remember telling my friend Kurt, who wasn't a fan of the Ramones, I remember bragging, going like, you know, because CDs back then were like, you know, $16 or something like that. I'd be like, $16, man, you get 30 songs. And I remember him kind of being like, well, yeah, all their songs are like 1 minute long. Of course, there's 30 songs on there, but you got a point. But I just remember picking this up and listened to this nonstop, you know, constantly. Had this in the CD player when I got it. And it's just a great collection, a great starter kit, as you could say, for Ramones. Just a really good. They put out a second one, but I don't have that. I don't really have any use for it. But then that's all I had for a long, long time. And then I don't know, sometime in the 2000s, I just started to like want to pick up their full records, you know. So I just started buying them, and coincidentally, Rhino had started reissuing them with a bunch of bonus tracks. So I started picking up the CDs then. These all came in the slip case, and they had a whole bunch of bonus tracks on them. This is their quintessential first album. I like when they would do, like, this is the label that would be on the Sire vinyl. I always liked when they did that with CDs. That, or if they made it like look like a record and stuff. I always thought that was cool. But there's really great liner notes in all of these, and this is just a great record. I remember putting it on and just instantly falling in love with it. You know, and Blitzkrieg Bop, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with. Judy is a Punk, I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. Chainsaw is great, about the great Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which I have a poster up of over there. Loudmouth, Listen to My Heart. Great stuff on here. Really love this. Then we get Road to Ruin. Just awesome record. One of my favorite songs by them, She's the One, is on here. There's a really cool bonus track, Yeah, Yeah, which I really like. And there's the thing. Like I said, there's all great photos and liner notes and everything in all these booklets. Rhino did an awesome job on these. They really did. I mean, Rhino does a great job on a lot of those things. But then we get Leave Home, Ramones Leave Home, Glad to See You Go, Oh, I Love Her So, Carbona, Not Glue, which I think originally was on the album, and then they got in trouble and they had to remove it from the album, but now it's back on here. And the bonus stuff on here is actually a live show from the Roxy in '76. That's what you get for the bonus tracks on that one. Then we get Rocket to Russia, Rockaway Beach, which should have been a hit single. I know they released it as a single. It didn't. I think it charted, but it didn't make the top 40. You know, the Ramones seemed like they were always kind of chasing that like top 40 success and just never really got it. You know, unfortunately. The couple of bonus tracks on here, I Don't Care. It's a Long Way Back to Germany. And my ticket stub here from the Tribeca Film Festival. I think this is 2002. I went and saw the quasi-documentary Hey, Is Dee Dee Home? I had also seen, I think the day before that, the End of the Century documentary, which was great. They had a premiere there at Tribeca. I might have it in the back of one of these too. But then we get the live record, It's Alive. This is from the Warner's archive. This isn't a Rhino reissue with any kind of bonus stuff like the other ones. But really good live record, just kind of, you know, giving you kind of like a taste of that early version of the Ramones and their live show, just blitzing through all their set list. Then we get their big kind of last grasp for top 40 success, hiring Phil Spector to produce their album End of the Century. Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio's on here, which is a great song. Again, some of these songs, you're just like, how were these not top 40 hits? But they were just kind of like, you know, there was all these kind of issues or this stigma around being a punk band, and certainly the Sex Pistols, when they came over and did their thing and such, kind of like probably kind of hurt the Ramones' chances, because it kind of lumped them in with this idea that these guys were going to show up at your radio station or something and destroy it or whatever, and the Ramones couldn't have been further from that, you know. But it's a good record. You know, I don't mind Phil Spector's production value on the record. It's kind of interesting to hear the band play that way. Some of the bonus tracks, the demo on here of Danny Says, I think I actually kind of like more than the album version. All the Way, I remember really liking. But yeah, good record. Then we get into the 80s. Pleasant Dreams. Now they're kind of just bouncing around with different producers, trying to still kind of chase a hit song. I really like this record. This one and the next one, I don't think people think too fondly of, but I really kind of like these records. We Want the Airwaves, All's Quiet on the Eastern Front, KKK Took My Baby Away, It's Not My Place in the 9 to 5 World. Come On Now is really good. They do a version of Touring on here that they re-recorded later when CJ joined the band. But really cool. And here's what I was talking about. Here's my ticket stub, May 9th, to see the documentary End of the Century. But yeah, I really like Pleasant Dreams. Kind of actually been looking for that on vinyl, but haven't found it for a price that I could afford. Then we get Subterranean Jungle. Again, I like this record a lot too, and it's, again, another record that I don't think a lot of Ramones fans are big fans of, but I like it. You know, Somebody Like Me is really good. Outsider, I Need Your Love. What are the bonus tracks on here? Unhappy Girl, My Kind of Girl. Yeah, I like this record a lot. Ramones just released a big vinyl box set last year of all their 80s albums that I know people really thought the box set was really good. I just didn't want to pick it up. I'm cool with the CDs, but you know, if I found those two on vinyl reasonably priced, I'd probably pick them up. Then we get Too Tough to Die. Tommy Ramone comes back to produce. I'm not crazy about this record. It's okay, but it's not my favorite, although I do love Howling at the Moon. I love that song. I remember the video back in the day, seeing that. Some of the bonus track, Smash You, is really good too. But not a bad record, but not really one of my favorites. Then this is the last of the Rhino reissues. For some reason, they just stopped at this point, which was a really bummer because they were doing such a good job with these. I was so disappointed that they didn't finish out the at least the Sire records, but they didn't, and you know they never will now, obviously. But so we didn't get Animal Boy reissue. I just have the regular release here. Again, not bananas about this. It's got a few songs on here that I like. Somebody put something in my drink. Love Kills, which originally was written for the Sid and Nancy movie, but they didn't use it. And then another one of my favorite tunes, Bonzo Goes to Bitburg, is on here, which I really like. So that's Animal Boy. Then we get Halfway to Sanity. Again, you know, kind of, it's okay. Not, again, these later 80s ones I'm not really crazy about. They're good, but nothing special. And again, no reissue from Rhino. It should have been, but it wasn't. I Want to Live is good. Bop Till You Drop is really good. But yeah, not a bad record, but not one of my favorites. And then their final record for Sire, Brain Drain, which has the great Pet Sematary on it. Again, you know, an okay album. Not one of my favorites, but you know, they have this picture here is like a still from the I Want to Be Sedated video that they did, which is pretty cool if you ever get a chance to check that out. That's Brain Drain. Final record for Sire, and I guess final record for Dee Dee in the band. I haven't been mentioning the comings and goings of band members, but Dee Dee, he was my favorite. He was a nut. I've read a few of his books. You know, I always liked Dee Dee. He was my favorite Ramone, so to say. Then the 90s hit, grunge hits. Suddenly, the kind of, you know, the bands that the Ramones inspired, you know, are all having major success. So you think, well, maybe it'll come for the Ramones. And they put out Mondo, Bizarro. And it doesn't. You know, just same old with the Ramones, you know. Maybe a little bit of airplay here and there on College Rock, but you know, it doesn't like go platinum or anything like that. But I really like this record, I'll be honest. Censorship, The Job That Ate My Brain, Poison Heart, and even though Dee Dee left, he's still writing some songs from them. It's Gonna Be Alright is really good. And then this is the one where they do they re-record touring for this record, and it's on here, which is pretty good. This is CJ Ramone joins the band here. But I like this record. And I don't know where Ramones fans really stand on that one, but I like it. I liked it a lot. Then we get Acid Eaters, which I think is what, like 94. Covers album. You know, whatever. Covers records. You know, there's a couple of them that are okay, but I'm not that big on cover albums. But, you know, I grabbed it. I think I got that from one of the record clubs, so I probably got it for free. Then their final record, Adios, Amigos. And not bad, an okay record, you know. Oops. That was going to pop out of there. But, what is this? Oh, I have some documentary that I put in there as a double thing. But it's an okay record. I Don't Want to Grow Up, I think that's a Tom Waits cover, which is pretty good. The Crusher is a Dee Dee song that he sold them or whatever. She Talks to Rainbows. I think that's a Rolling Stones song, I think. But you know, it's a okay record. You know, I don't know if I would say they went out on a high note, but it's an okay record, not bad. So that's the Ramones. I also have the Joey Ramone. I guess this came out after he passed away. It's like EP of some Christmas kind of songs that he recorded. Christmas Spirit in My House. And then here's his first solo record, which is okay. You know, sounds a lot like a Ramones record, but he did a cover of What a Wonderful World. It's pretty good. But, you know, just okay. I had his second solo record at some point, but I don't know what happened to it. I do know I had it because I think I had like some sort of deluxe version of it that came in like a little box, but I don't know what happened to that. And then we got a Dee Dee Ramone solo record. His solo output was kind of all over the map. But it's kind of an interesting record. There's a cover on here of Born to Lose, which I think is really good. That's the main reason why I picked this up. I really like his cover of Born to Lose. Really good. So that's it. That's all my Ramones CDs, you know. They're all going to fall off of the thing there, so probably not going to grab them all. But, you know, let me know. Share your love or hate for the Ramones. That's fine. And thanks for watching, and see you another time. Take it easy. Bye.